Oscar winner Gabriel Yared is the composer on The Life Ahead, which is a new film available on Netflix now and stars Sophia Loren. I'm Kevin Jacobsen of Gold Derby here with Gabriel. And just to start, was there something about The Life Ahead or just the people involved that made you want to sign on as the composer?
Well, hello, Kevin. I would like to say that if I came into this film, it's certainly because of the director, Eduardo Ponti, um, whom I didn't know actually, but I knew Sophia Loren, of course. When I was a kid, the first film I saw when I was 10 years old was called The Fall of the Roman Empire, a very old film. And I was struck when I saw this woman. I was 10 years old, and she was playing the daughter of Marcus Aurelius in a kind of big peplum film. Um, I just want to say that, as usual, if I work on a film, it's firstly because I have a good relationship with the director, and this is what happened on The Life Ahead. Uh, I know that Eduardo was determined to work with me, but he didn't know me, and he didn't know that I prefer to be involved in a project very early in the process. So I like to read the script, to speak with the director, etc., and so that it's rewarding also for the director to see the music making growing instead of having the music just at the end. And this is how I worked on a lot of the films I've been working. Would it be The English Patient or Cold Mountain or Betty Blue or other films? But on this film, Eduardo came to me once the film was shot, was already shot, and they were in the process of editing. So he came to Paris because I live in Paris, and he came with the edit as it was at the moment. It was in December 2019. And he said to me, "This is the film as it is now. It's work in progress. I let you watch it on your own, and I'm going for a walk." And he left me on my own, you know. And so I looked at this film, and I was really immediately captivated and overwhelmed by the story, by the characters, by the performances. There was uh, something very unique. It has an emotional depth and also a kind of melancholia that attracted me straight away. So I watched the film, and when he came back, I said, "Yes, let's go, let's do it."
Yeah. Was there a particular tone that you and Eduardo just really wanted to convey with the music?
Yes, yes. It's the most difficult thing was this relationship between Madame Rosa, who was Sophia Loren, and this little orphan thug, Momo. This was the most difficult because those two people are so different from each other, but you you feel at the end, I mean, throughout the time of the film, you feel that they are not so different after all. So what was very difficult, it was the relationship between those two. Firstly, Madame Rosa, who has suffered from the camps during the war, but who has also a kind of nostalgia before the war, of this kind of life they had before Hitler arrived. And so we decided, Eduardo and I, that the first thing I should do is to work on the themes before starting to work on the images. And I like that. So what I did is I watched the film many times as it was at the moment, and then I stopped watching the film and I started thinking of the themes with the memory of the images. To me, it makes sense to work with the memory of the images because it let my imagination, uh, go its own way and remember of the film, remember only. So we had in mind four themes: Rosa themes, Momo theme, what we call the love family theme, which is their relationship, and finally the illness theme, because Rosa gets ill and her body and her mind don't respond At the end of the film, they don't respond. So I started working on the themes, and sometimes I shared with him two options for a theme. And it seems that we are very similar. We have the same taste, and we agreed on the main four themes. Once I found this, I started working on each scene, crafting to the images, to the camera movements, to the dialogues, to all these things. And we were supposed to be together in Paris and work together, but unfortunately came this awful pandemic, and he had to fly to Los Angeles. So we worked almost daily. We would speak daily together and talk about. I would prepare my demos because I do my own demos myself. I'm quite good at this because I like this process, not, to orchestrate in some way. I play every single instrument, and I would send it to Eduardo, and Eduardo would call me and say, I have a problem here. I would fix it and hear how the process was. But for writing the themes, this was quite difficult because, to write s- uh, simple music, as to speak, is quite challenging. This film wanted to have score very delicate and very gentle and not too much on the nose. So it has to be moving without being too lyrical. It has to be uh, to catch you in some way, to say what the image wouldn't say, what the characters would never say. The music is there for this. So I worked on the Yiddish theme, what I call the Yiddish theme, because I love this music, and I wanted to have Rosa theme inspired by Yiddish music, to be a kind of mixture between very painful and very happy at the same time, because there was before the war and during the war. And this music, she would listen to it it was a scratching vinyl, which she would listen in her basement. You saw the film, right? Yeah. So I play for you the theme of Rosa. Was it. Do you want me to play it?
Yeah. Yeah. Give
This
us
is
a
it.
taste.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a taste, but it's a violin solo who plays this with a string orchestra, small string
Yeah.
orchestra, because I wanted to have a small lineup to respect the intimacy of the film. So this was the theme. Etc. with a violin solo, and it was very Yiddishy and very authentic at the same time. It took me a long time to prepare this theme. As for Momo theme, it 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 struck me that immediately when I saw Momo, I thought of a whistling theme, because the whistle corresponds very closely to his character, to his kind of being cheeky and all that. So the theme for Momo is whistle, and it's very easy. It goes with a kind of rhythm guitar and bass, etc. Then there was the love theme, which is how they are bonding together slowly. This is a very simple theme, which evolves slowly, and we get to a big kind of concerto for piano and small orchestra, always small. And the theme is this. And then building, variating. And at the end of the film, when Momo is sitting on the stairs and the Lola comes to him, and then it becomes a kind of concerto for piano and orchestra.
Yeah. Thank you for demonstrating all those very distinct themes.
It's so much easier for me, Kevin, because you
Right.
cannot speak about music. You can play it or listen to it, but it's difficult to explain.
Right. Well, obviously, the two of them those two characters are at the heart of the film. And I'm
Yes.
curious if their performances and what they were bringing to the film really just helped you even more than usual to find the right emotional notes that you were trying to hit with the score.
Absolutely, absolutely. When I say I look, I don't work close to the image when I'm composing. As I told you, I spend a lot of time watching the film over and over and over until it's in my body, in my cells, in my mind, in my heart. And then with the memory of these images, of the characters, of their performances, this is how I compose the music. So I could say that each bar of this music, of this score, is inspired by the performances by Sophia Loren, by the young Ibrahim, who is really good. Actually, he's such a, I mean, he's very young, but he's a fantastic actor. And also by the confidence and by this beautiful relationship I had with Eduardo. Because, working in confidence with the director is very helpful because you are his ally in some way. You are his, you want to bring what he couldn't have, I mean, he would never be able to bring to a film. It's this special character. People tell you the music is a character, but well, for to you have to have a character who speaks, and Eduardo has been able to use the music in a way that it speaks when it has to, and never too much on the nose.
Yeah, that's something I was really struck by is that it's not an intrusive score,
No.
not every scene, even some of the more emotional scenes in the film aren't always scored. Is that something that was really important to you to,
Yeah, yeah. Really on the tip
use
of
it
the toes,
sparingly?
really. Yeah, very
Yeah,
delicate. Is delicate, delicacy. It needs this because the most
right.
important is the story, is those two characters. And the music is just supporting this. But it's
Yeah.
thematic actually. And I think I believe that this film needed to have a thematic music, not only underscore, with nice pads and it needs to have thematic things. And in the end, where there's a song, beautiful song written by Diane Warren, and after the song comes the main theme of Rosa theme, which the one I played.
Yeah. Well, since I have you here, you are an Academy Award winner, and we are Gold Derby, so we like talking about awards. Um,
Yes.
I have to ask you about just your history there. You win the Oscar for your work on The English Patient.
Yeah.
Um, can you just
23
take
years
us?
ago, my dear, 23 years
That's
ago.
that's wild.
Yeah.
Can you take us back to that night, just what it meant for you at that point in your career to be up on that stage winning that award?
Yeah, I can tell you, yes. Firstly, I think it was my second time in Los Angeles. I've never been before. And I went there with Anthony Minghella, who unfortunately passed away in 2008. And we were sitting there, it was not in the same venue. It was in another venue at the time in 1997. And we were sitting there, all the team of the film. And then the Oscar goes to Juliette Binoche, the Oscar goes to blah, 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 blah. And Anthony was saying, "You'll get the Oscar." I said, "No, they gave already, I don't know, 6 or 7 Academy Awards for this film. I won't get it." And meanwhile, at the time we had on your chair, you had a little hole on your armchair. And in the hall, we could put a glass of champagne, it was offered by the Academy. So we had champagne and more champagne. And when came the music and the Oscar goes to, and I heard my name, I was completely, overwhelmed, and I was a little dizzy, to say the truth, because I'm very self-conscious and very shy. I felt like, overwhelmed by all this beautiful people, and the ceremony is really very impressive to me anyway. So I went on the stage, and at the time my English was very bad. And so when I came on the stage, I said, "I'm sorry for my English." And all the people were laughing because they thought I was talking about the English patient, you see, about the character, the English patient. And I said, I usually you say thank you to the Academy, Martin DeFil, thank you to the, and then I said, "That's done, great." And then you go backstage. And backstage, I discovered that the world was changing for me. All of a sudden, all these photographers, all this press, this journalist, Gabriel, look at me, Gabriel. I said, my God, something has happened in my life, really. And I was so happy. And at the same time, uh, I was very shy. So I know that I enjoyed very much the ceremony and after ceremony also, going, in all these parties. But then I came back again 2 years later for The Talented Mr. Ripley, where I was nominated, and again 2 years later for Cold Mountain. So I get more used to this, but it's always not only impressive, it's always, it makes you, even if you don't get the Oscar, it's such a beautiful ceremony and such a great place to go. I remember having seen a concert by Burt Bacharach. I think it was in 2002. And I love Burt Bacharach. I mean, I love his songs. I met so many people, so many interesting people. This is where I met Johnny Depp, with whom I worked with Angelina Jolie on the film After. I met great people during this time. And well, I believe now that I'm making 32. I'm 32 years old now. So I hope I'll be nominated just to just to enjoy this ceremony. Actually, I'm 72.
Right. Well, I mean, that's what I was going to say. Like, once you get nominated for The Talented Mr. Ripley and then Cold Mountain, I imagine the pressure is just not really there as much. You've already won. You don't have to worry too
I don't.
much.
I never worry about winning or not. I don't
Right.
worry, but I think it's really enjoyable to be there, really, and to see all
Yeah.
these people, all your colleagues, all the actors, all the directors, all these people who have been working so hard during months and years to get there. And so, yeah, of course, I would enjoy. Of course, I would. I'm, 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 I'm sure. And after all these years, I'll be very impressed again. It's like being a child, when you are there,
Of
surrounded
course.
by
Yes.
giants.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Mr.
Thank
Yared,
you,
for talking
Kevin.
with me today. I really appreciate it.
Call me Gabriel,
Um,
please. Even if I'm your
oh,
grandfather.
Gabrielle. Okay. Well, for those of you watching, hit like and subscribe for more interviews and head to goldderby.com to make your award season predictions.